home, from tired to thriving, from silence to song. With YDC, you belong. Let's start living, rise again. You are more than just a pain. Confident, bold, unashamed. Your discovery coach, remember the name. You're strong, you're seen, you're free to dream. YDC, 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 remember the name. Hey mama, you're more than enough. Hey mama, stand tall, you've given so much. You gave your all, now it's time to shine. You've been in the shadows, now step in the light. Rediscover your voice, take back your name. You're not just a mom, your power, your flame. From tired to thriving, from silence to song. With YDC, you belong. Let's start living.
And yes, we are live on another Friday. Thank you so much for your time, for joining me. What's the weather like where you are? Let's know in the comment section. Thank you so much. This is another Friday, and we're going to be just 30 minutes. Respect your time. It's holiday season, and I know a lot of people have a lot of things to do, up and about, trying to get things done, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yes, I get that. So I would not take so much of your time. Today, we're going to be talking about when you walk into a room and your authority is questioned. And why are we talking about this now? Why? What's the reason? If you remember last week, we started with the confidence builders, holiday season and meeting new people that don't understand your growth, don't understand the work you've put into yourself. Now, this is something that we're building on it. We're having this conversation now because of the holidays, and that's for a reason. This is a season when you walk back into rooms that remember an old version of you, rooms that have not updated their understanding of who you are, rooms where people still relate to the girl you used to be, not the woman that you're becoming. You will meet family members you haven't seen in months. You will sit with people who question your growth. You will hear comments about your parenting. You will hear comments about your decisions. You will hear comments about your boundaries and your confidence. And if your inner authority is not stable, you will start to doubt yourself. This teaching is not about convincing anyone. We're not telling you to go and start trying to convince them, oh, I've changed, oh, I've grown. No, it's about learning how to remain rooted when your authority is questioned. Last week, we talked about who deserves your energy. If you remember, that was external choice. That's an external choice you make. You can decide, I'm not going to go to this place, or you can decide, oh, I'm not going to call up this person. You just, make that decision. That's an external choice. But today we're talking about an internal authority, because you can choose wisely, but still collapse internally the moment someone challenges your decision. So you can say, I will still not, I will not go into this space. But when the person, or when the people, or when the authority figure, or whatever it is, comes to your own space, how do you then react? Do you collapse? And that's what we are going to be looking at today. Authority is not confidence. Many people think authority is confidence. It is not. Authority is self-trust under pressure. Let me say that again. Authority is self-trust under pressure. Confidence can exist in safe rooms. Authority shows up when your choices are questioned. When your choices are questioned, that's when your authority shows up. And here's the truth that many women would not want to face. Your authority feels weak, not because you are wrong, but because you are still early in trusting yourself. So, we've talked a lot, so much on our Friday Lives about self-trust, about confidence building. But the thing about it is that it's a journey. So as you go on this holiday, you might meet people that will make your self-trust, shake a bit, that will make your self-confidence, your that inner authority, you're like questioning yourself, like, is this really right? I'll tell you a story. When I went to a few years ago, when I had my first child, and I went back home to see my parents, and then my mom was saying things like, oh no, that's not how to, the regular, questioning, they question your decisions, they question your parenting. And in my head, I was like, I have worked so hard, not to parent the way I was parented, only for me to come home and then hear that, no, you're not doing it right. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of inner authority to say, oh no, I'm not going to buck under this pressure. I'm not going to, collapse under this pressure. Some people will even, some aunties, are so blatant. They just say anything. I know that's how you're going to spoil this child. Meanwhile, you are trying to, you're learning emotional intelligence. You're trying to, put yourself together, because you understand that yelling at a child, for instance, does not produce any result. All it produces is another yeller. You only produce after your own kind. So you're working on yourself. You're making adjustments here and there, and then you go to the village, you go somewhere, and then everybody starts to question how you parent. Oh, this is not how we brought you up. Oh, you're believing all this new age nonsense. And then what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Before we go on to what do you do, we're going to see why the holidays trigger you. The holidays expose something that is very specific. You return to environments where you were once corrected often, your choices were monitored, your voice was dismissed, your instincts were questioned, your authority lived outside of you. So you go back to that environment and something in you wants to shrink again. You're not able to say that, no, this is, I'm learning a new way. Sometimes you're not even confident enough to share what you are learning about in your own parenting journey. But because you have come into that space where your first your first shrinking your first shrinking behavior started. So you've come into that space, and then your body remembers. There's something it does, to your nervous system. So it takes a lot of, inner authority. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of, strength to say no. I agree that these people did the best that they did, when they were bringing me up, but I don't need to. Bring up my own child the way, and I don't need to conform because I'm in my parents' house or in my auntie's house or I'm with these people to conform to their own way of parenting. So when someone says, why are you raising your child like that? When someone says, why didn't you do it that way? When someone says, oh, you've changed, oh, you're doing too much, you're being too strict, you're being too soft, or any other thing they like to say, your body reacts before your mind can respond. You don't panic because they are right. You panic because authority came once upon a time when you were in that situation, when you were helpless. Authority once came with consequences. So your body remembers, that whole, let me just calm down. I'll soon be going home. I'll just manage. It's just 4 days here and I'll be done and I'll be gone. Let me name the moment this teaching is talking about. You walk into a room fine. When someone speaks with uncertainty, until someone speaks with certainty, sorry. Someone who sounds knowledgeable, someone who carries confidence, someone who feels dominant. There's some very dominating personalities, and suddenly you just balk. Your legs start to shake, your voice starts to shake, your voice starts to shrink. Your voice softens, your certainty disappears just because somebody you feel is more knowledgeable than you has entered into the room. Someone whose personality is so dominating. Person walks in and then you balk. Then you start explaining yourself. Oh no, it's not like that, so it's like this. You can't even defend the decisions that you've made concerning how you are bringing your own child, or the decisions that you've made, or the fact that you've dropped, say for instance, you've dropped what your parents asked you to read. You've dropped it. Now you're a full grown woman. You know that you don't want to study that. You don't want to pursue a career path in that. And then you come into that room and then they're asking questions and you're like, how do I even explain to these people that I'm following my calling, I'm following my path? It takes a lot of, inner authority. You defer too quickly. You abandon your position, and that's not because they are superior. It's because your authority is still forming. So I want you to understand that while these are everybody has stages, right? Some people, they've been on this journey for a very long time. They've been on this journey for long, and then obviously their strength, their authority, their confidence has grown. But when you're just, coming out of that whole finding your voice, finding your voice, stopping your invisibility narrative, stop shrinking and all that, your authority is still forming. So it's understandable when, it feels like when a dominating personality comes in, then you balk. It's understandable. But why knowledge? But let's see why, knowledge makes you shrink. That's other people's knowledge. Some people shrink in the presence of knowledge, not because they are ignorant, but because you've been trained to believe that authority belongs to whoever knows more, or even whoever is loudest. So you start to shrink. Somebody walks into that uncle just walks into the room, and he seems that's that particular uncle that seems like he knows everything. He even knows the president. He knows what happens in Aso Rock on Tuesday 3 p.m. He knows so much, and you know that this uncle is just, he's not really, there's just, a lot of fluff, but he's loud. He's the life of the party. He's loud. So you are afraid. You balk, you shrink. He's not saying the truth. He's not making any sense, but you sit down there and listen and then laugh, laugh out of, but there's just something in you that shrinks. You get out of that person's presence, you're wondering, what have I done? What have I learned? Nothing. It was all fluff. So it's not because you're ignorant, but because you were trained to believe that the authority belongs to whoever knows more. So when you meet somebody with information, credentials, experience, or strong opinions, you surrender your ground. But I want you to hear this. Authority is not knowing everything. Authority is remaining present even when you don't. Even when you don't know everything, just remain present. Don't balk. Don't run away. Your authority is forming. Your strength is forming. Whatever stage you are in life, it's valid. Don't go back and shrink in this holiday period. We've talked so much about rising as women. We've talked so much about rediscovery. We've talked so much about, standing your ground. Don't go back in this holiday and just shrink because your husband has brought 15 of his friends into the house. Their wives are more beautiful, or they're this or they're that. Don't let anybody intimidate you off the work that you're doing on yourself. Tell yourself when things like this happen, I'm allowed to say, tell yourself, I'm allowed to say, I'm still learning and I will not dissolve. Speak to yourself, I'm allowed to still continue to learn. I'm allowed not to dissolve. Don't dissolve anymore. Don't shrink. Don't shrink. Don't let all the work you've done this year shrink just because it's holiday season. The real issue is not confidence. The real issue is this question: am I allowed to be wrong and still remain standing? If the answer inside you is no, you will always collapse in the presence of strong voices. So understanding that failure is also, a part of your journey, and that you are allowed to be wrong. You don't need to collapse under it. Find why you were wrong, correct yourself, and move. Because if you keep collapsing every time you found out that you did something wrong, or something happened, or something was wrong, whatever, collapse is inevitable. Collapse is inevitable because you will always meet someone more knowledgeable. You will always meet somebody with more authority. You will always meet someone with more confidence. You will always meet somebody that is higher than you. So ask yourself one question: am I allowed to be wrong and still remain standing? Am I allowed to be a work in progress? That's the question. So when you realize that you're allowed to be a work in progress, you don't collapse in the face of knowledge. You don't collapse in the face of dominant personalities, because you are allowed, are giving yourself the permission to be on a learning journey. You're going to be learning as much and as daily and as permanently as you can. Learning is something that happens every day. The day we stop learning, we die. We start to regress. We start to go back. So I don't know everything doesn't mean I am not eligible to stand. When that truth sinks into you, you tell yourself, I'm allowed to be wrong and still remain standing. Maturity teaches you that you don't need perfection to hold authority. What you need is self-trust. Trust yourself enough to say that I will keep showing up to learn. I will keep showing up to, to be better. I will keep showing up to refine my skills. I will keep showing up to do the work that I need to do to become the woman that I envision for myself in the next, couple of years. I will keep showing up. That's where we know you're mature, that you're not bulking and you're not running away because somebody who has higher knowledge comes to your house, or some people who seem like they have it put all together, they come and then you shrink. No, let your voice be heard. Don't shrink back to your old patterns in the holiday because you're in the cousin's house, you're in friend's house, you're in parents' house, you're in the village, and there are some people who are loud. Some of them are just loud because of the alcohol they've drank. They're not loud, they're not making sense. So do not let yourself be intimidated by loudness, by strength of voice, by dominant personalities, by people who seem to have it all. No, that's where you will start to take your invisibility narrative and change it, because invisibility starts to hide, wants to hide when something else feels like it's shinier than it. You only thrive when you're around the people that know you, when people that know your journey. How about when people that have not seen you for years now come and meet you? Are you able to shine your light? Are you able to, speak forth that you are growing, and you're still growing, you're still learning, you're not bulking? That's maturity. Oh, this person knows a lot. What can I learn from them? Not how can I run away from them. Oh, this person is making sense. How can I apply this teaching to my life? Not how can I run away? How can I just keep quiet? How can I go to the back again? No, that's not what we do. You want to do this holiday. New authority needs validation. Mature authority needs alignment. New authority seeks agreement. Mature authority can survive disagreement. So you will meet people who will disagree with your way of parenting. You will meet people who will disagree with your methodology. You will meet people who will disagree with. They'll tell you you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're doing coaching. You are going to coaches. They don't see any point in self-development. They don't see any point in personal development. Don't don't let them make you question your decisions to become a better person, to become a better version of yourself. Don't. They don't read books, and that's fine. That's for them, right? But just tell yourself, "One, I'm not them." Mature authority can survive disagreement. So I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm not saying you're right, but I don't agree with what you're saying. It doesn't agree with my values. It doesn't agree with what I know, learning what I am learning. So you are able to stand, take your ground, and stand. New authority panics when challenged. Mature authority stays present. Mature authority stays present. I'm not bulking. I'm not running away. I'm not changing my mind, right? Because this thing I am doing, I'm trying it, I'm testing it, and it's working. I'm reading better. I'm becoming bolder. I'm rising for my children are seeing me rising. Why do you want me to, why do you want me to run away from this? Why should I be ashamed of my growth? Because it's a thing. You're just ashamed that, oh, you're not feeling there. Sometimes you're feeling like, oh, you're not even feeling like, oh, you now know more than us. They want to challenge your authority. No, mature authority stays present. What is happening if you're in new authority phase is that you're still learning, but it's a progress, it's a process, sorry, it's a journey. That new authority would, give way to mature authority. And it's not as if you are weak. You're just in your early stages. If you find yourself bulking, if you find yourself being on destabilized and all that, it's okay. But tell yourself, I will move on to maturity. I will move on to maturity. I will move on to mature authority. So how do we apply this in this holiday season? Let's make it practical. In this season, people will question you. We've said it before, how you parent, how you discipline, how you spend your time, or what you spend your time doing. why you don't attend everything. Some people will question you, oh, we invited you for this, you didn't attend, blah, blah, blah. Why you're no longer available for everything and anything like you used to be. People would say you've changed because, holiday is just somehow a lot of people let down their guards in the holiday, they're everywhere and nowhere. But now, what the test will be, it's not whether you defend yourself well. The test is whether you remain rooted without performing. The test is whether you remain rooted. That when you leave their presence, when you leave, their presence, when you leave that space, you're not going to be questioning yourself. You're not going to be asking yourself, did I do the right thing? Did I not? You're not going to balk under that pressure. You will remain rooted. You will finish the holiday and the holiday will not finish you. And that's what we're talking about. So how do we practice this? When someone questions you, do not explain. Don't justify yourself. Don't overtalk. Just say, that's what works for me. That's what works for us as a family. Or just remain still. Be rooted. And that's how your inner authority grows. When someone questions you, why are you not beating that child? Did you not see how that child just did it? And your person is yelling, and you've told yourself, see, I've been learning that yelling and beating does not help. You see, sometimes you go on holiday and the people you've gone to visit, your family that you've gone to visit, they still believe in the things that you don't believe in. They still believe in yelling. They still believe in, beating a child, or they still believe in anything that it is that you decided that, okay, in this my journey of becoming, this doesn't fit the woman I want to be. I don't want to be I don't want to be someone who flares up with rage, or things like that. I just want to be a calm and gentle parent. I want to be an intentional parent, or whatever it is that you have decided. And then you now go to that old old space, and then that identity still stands. So somebody's shouting at your child, somebody's beating your child, and then you're like, oh, no, 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 stand your ground. Oh no, this doesn't work for us anymore. It doesn't work for us. And then they'll say, look at you, didn't you turn out okay? Please just stand your ground. It's not about shouting, it's not about justifying yourself, it's not about over talking. Your authority is not in how many words that you say, but in how calm and how rooted you are concerning your decisions. So let me leave this with us as we round off. Authority is not loud. Authority is not aggressive. Authority is not defensive. Authority is self-loyalty. And the woman who is loyal to herself does not collapse when she walks into a room. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I told you it was going to be a short one today, so that I can give you guys time to go about your day and get ready for the holiday. But I just want to mention right now about our 90-day becoming program. It starts again in January the 12th. The link is in our bio. And just, if this is something you see yourself struggling with, if this is something that you need that container, you need that hand holding, you need that person that would help you to strengthen from new authority to mature authority, to take your hand, to help you to stand your ground. Because I understand how daunting trying to find your voice, trying not to shrink and all that can be. Well, let's help you. Let's take your hand. Let's walk this journey with you. So the link is in the bio. Join us on our 90-day program. It promises to be, transforming, promises to, you'll find it very liberating. You will find yourself finding your voice, finding, coming out of that invisibility narrative that you have trapped yourself in, or has trapped you. Right. I want you to just take that courage and take that bold step and do the needful. Click the link on our bio and let's have this 90 days together. It's a 90 days for liberation. It's a 90 days that will transform you. It's in 90 days you would never regret. Thank you so much for listening to me on this Friday. And I do wish you an amazing week and a Merry Christmas, because next week is Christmas. By the time we're going to be seeing next week, it's not going to be Christmas anymore. We're going to be saying Happy New Year for the upper week. See how the time flies. See how the year goes. See how, time just Phew, and then 2025 is over, but it doesn't mean that your journey is over. You can start at any time. 2025, don't look at yourself and say, what have I achieved? What have I done? No, that's not important right now. What's important is that every day you wake up, you make a decision to keep following. You make a decision to keep doing. You make a decision to keep rising. You make a decision to keep living. So, hey, mamas, let's start living. Thank you, and do have an amazing, amazing, amazing Christmas.